At this time, I would like to welcome our National Honor Society Community Liaison, Julianna Beck, to address the class.
I think we have this preconceived notion of what our 4 years of high school will be like. We have seen it on TV, we have heard the stories, we've made up almost this charming image in our heads. With the dances to the football games, the first dates, all the friends, it really sounds glamorous at first. But what is never discussed is that difficult reality of the less glamorous side that can haunt and shape those 4 years drastically. Parents are supposed to be the ideal role model for a child. They are meant to provide for their children, protect them, and nurture them. Well, what happens when a parent steps out of that role entirely? What happens when spousal assault shatters the family, leaving a 17-year-old to take care of their younger siblings who are only 3 and 5 years old? How does that 17-year-old come to school every day with a smile on their face? Or how about the 18-year-old who is diagnosed with anxiety and depression? Because at 18, it's just about fitting in, right? Making that varsity sports team, balancing the good grades, finding a boyfriend or girlfriend, make sure to keep mom and dad happy. So how is it possible to balance all of that while trying to keep demons at bay? And how does a student jump back on that path of normalcy after being hospitalized for attempted suicide because that depression and anxiety became to be too much for them? But at least the comfort of a home is conventional. But what about the 15-year-old who gets evicted from their home? The loss of a home is devastating, but what about the loss of a family? Where does a teenager go from there? Where do they go when home is not home and family is no longer present? And what about the student who has scars all over their body from an accident they couldn't control? What happens when a 16-year-old wakes up 30 minutes earlier before school every day to cake on as much makeup as possible to hide the scars because they're so ashamed of them? And what happens when people that were supposed to be their friends are laughing about it behind their back and making fun of them? What happens then? And what happens when a student gets that call? That call that their best friend is no longer there to walk with them in the hallways anymore. That call that is unexplainable, appalling, nauseating. In 18 short years, we have grown up. Some clearly forced to grow up too young. Seniors, those were your stories. Those were your experiences. But the beauty of these stories lies within the fact that you sit in your chairs today, despite the difficult details that the world clearly provides for you. These stories do not define you. The 17-year-old did not ask for abusive parents. The 15-year-old could not help eviction from their home. The 16-year-old did not want scars on their body, and the friend that got that call, kids aren't supposed to die. This is the side of high school that is never discussed. This is the side of life that no one wants to talk about. But these obstacles do not define anyone. Obstacles do not block the path, they are the path. What does define you is how you overcame these obstacles. And you did overcome these setbacks because you sit here today. Today is confirmation that we have succeeded. We've had several challenges thrown our way, all individual, unique challenges, and we will have several more to come. But you are successful today, and you will remain successful when these future obstacles are brought to you. Whether it was your family, friends, school, community, or just yourself that helped you surpass these troubles, please never forget the lessons learned these past 18 years. For me, I'll never forget how much the Hampshire community helped me get back on my feet. When I felt no one was there, I looked to my school. I no longer wake up 30 minutes earlier every morning to cake makeup on the scars on my body. I no longer am that ashamed 16-year-old girl. Class of 2017, do not be ashamed. Take your stories and make them great. Martin Luther King Jr. said it best, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy." I guarantee class of 2017, there will be plenty of moments of challenge and controversy yet to come. Remember how you stood tall these past 18 years, and remain standing, because life is tough, but so are you. Thank you, Dr. Benning and Ms. Kelly, for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Falk, Mrs. Lutz, Mr. Liss, Mr. Featherly, for being the greatest mentors I could have ever asked for these past 4 years. And thank you, Mr. Napper, for being the most ideal role model any student at this school could ever have. I'm blessed to encounter such a wonderful community. Thank you, Hampshire High. Thank you to my family. Thank you, Michaela Dudek. And most importantly, thank you, class of 2017. I wish you guys nothing but the best.